Hey guys, this is Randy Radio, and you are listening to the Randy Pontiff himself. Today we have Nyambura, or as you may well know her,
Momo's daughter.
Yes, so I managed to get her around, and she's kind of excited about this.
Just
Are you
a little.
excited?
Just a little.
Yeah, wait until she hears what I have to ask her.
I am not holding my breath.
So, well, today I've chosen to talk about something that has been very elusive to most women, something that most women tend to look for like it's the holy grail.
World peace.
Probably. You're close. If everybody had one of these, that'd be world peace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so today I'll be asking you about orgasms in the 30s.
Oh, wow, shame us. We're
Most
old.
most specifically for women, because well, what do you know about men? So how are orgasms an urban legend to begin with?
Of course not. I had one this morning.
Wow. Shame them. So, most people tend to think that like squatting before, squatting is still an urban legend to date.
I can't see how that is.
Yeah, and because most people don't seem to get to know where or how to get about an orgasm.
Mm-hmm. By most people, you mean men.
Well, while we are trying to give it to you, but the even more tragic part is when you can't give it to yourself, or when you don't know how you want it served. You don't even know it exists to begin with.
True.
So that's mostly, I find that to be quite alarming. So I'd ask myself, because at some point you have to have known that this is it, this is what I've been looking for, or did it just hit you like a wave?
When I had my first
When you
orgasm?
had your first one.
First of all, I was pretty young.
Yeah.
I was 14, and I was reading this book, and there was a sex scene, and my private parts were feeling really hot and wet.
Yeah.
And I touched myself. I think I was feeling a bit itchy, so I was touching myself because of the itch, not because I was looking for an orgasm.
That's what we'll go with.
And the more I touched, the better I felt. So I kept touching, and before I knew it, there was an explosion, and I knew I wanted more of that. So I kept going back to the book. That school holiday was lit.
I can imagine.
So yeah.
But at that point, do you know exactly what it is? Do you feel like don't you feel sickish? Don't you feel like your body is acting different?
No, I felt amazing. That is something I wanted to do over and over and over again.
Well, in that case, do you care to describe how it was like? I'd love to hear that.
Well, my orgasms are mostly like I see colors, and my whole body is like not on this plane.
Yeah.
Like I'm somewhere else. I don't think I can put it into words. I don't think I can describe it, but I know it's amazing. I know it's something I want to get for the rest of my life.
Sounds interesting, unlike our kinds of orgasms.
Yours look bland. And they look like they're the same over and over again.
Yeah, to be honest, there isn't any newer way. I don't know, maybe people have discovered it, but I don't think there is a newer way of getting a man an an orgasm? Because you guys can have clitoral now, vaginal next, and something in between on the third one,
and some women even orgasm from having their boobs sucked or their ears.
We are
chest.
getting to that. So I'd really want to know, after 14, the subsequent years, how are your orgasms? Were they getting better? Were they more or less? Were they sweeter or just bland?
I think it was easier to get an orgasm then because my mind was still fresh. I didn't have any social conditioning. So anything I read or any image I saw that had any sexual overtones got me almost there. So it was easier then than it is now.
Right.
Physically speaking, not mentally.
And can you care to explain that?
Because now, as I've gotten older, I'm more confident in my body and in myself. I'm more aware, and I know exactly what I need to be done for me to get there. But my body is not as receptive as it was then. So then it was easier physically, but now it's easier mentally. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does make sense because, truth be told, we are not getting any more sensitive. We are actually getting less sensitive as we get older. So newer ways of getting the same orgasms have to be engineered or something, so to speak. And I think I understand what you're saying. And in case anybody doesn't, I think they should drop a question or comment in the comment section, and maybe we can get to it sometime later. Do you feel like orgasms really do get better with what you just told me? Do they get better with time, or does the transition from mental to physical or physical to mental affect the quality?
I feel like the quality of my orgasms is getting better and better because as you grow older, you are not you're careful with who you do it with. And you only do it when you want to do it, not because you're pressured or because you have to. It's because you actually want to. So it gets, I think the orgasm, the quality gets better with time. And you're more comfortable with yourself.
Right.
You know your body better, so you know exactly what to do, exactly where to touch. You're not scared of directing someone you're with. Yeah, so there's all that.
You know, I've had a podcast about the directing thing, and the lady was not very enthusiastic to show the guy where she wants to be touched. She just wants you to gaze.
I see. I think right
So
now
is it
I'm at a
something-
point in my life. I think this phase of my life is called fuck it.
I think I'll make it a point to ask every guest on my podcast if they'd show their man around their body.
How is he expected to know if you don't show him?
I mean,
like
people are
I'm the
different, right?
only authority on my body.
Exactly.
So it's only me who can tell someone this is what I like best.
Yeah, that's why it was a bit confusing for me. Like, you'd want probably even a total stranger to guess where exactly it feels good. I mean, fine, you can fumble around with a little bit of knowledge from what you know about anatomy, but until you get it, people will be tired already. It will be a lot of fumbling.
Because even when you visit someone's house, they don't tell you to guess where the kitchen or the toilet is. And you've been to enough houses, but every time you go to a new house, you have to be shown this is here, this is here. So what's so different about your body?
You know, and the thing is, when the point where you should be annoyed is if I've shown you this is where I want to be touched, yet you go ahead and ignore what I've
Because
just
someone
told you.
else told you that's what
something,
they like.
you know.
Yeah.
So maybe that will be the annoying bit. And like when someone just asks you, okay, where will you love to be touched? It's not out of ignorance, it's out of curiosity. Just, I want to know your body. So you mentioned something about self-awareness and how you know you want it served, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to ask, which orgasms, if you have categorized them, which orgasms do you enjoy the most? Is it the vaginal one, clitoral, or if there's any other you'd like to mention, or is it the self or the assisted one?
I would go with the clitoral.
Yeah.
My clitoral orgasms are out of this world. And I like to be assisted.
In what way?
I don't like to be touched down there. I prefer someone playing with my nipples while I do what I do best.
DJing is what it means. In case you didn't see the hand signals. Yeah. So it's a combination of assisted and
clitoral.
How do you find the vaginal orgasms? Time.
For me, they're not a sure bet.
Yeah.
As in, sometimes I'll get one and sometimes I won't. That's why I opt for the clitoral, because I know, I am sure if I go down that road, I know where it's leading. But with a vaginal orgasm, it's always like a freaking shot in the dark for me.
The thing, I'd easily say that vaginal for you guys, I'd compare it to...
Mansplain away.
No, I'm saying, I'm comparing it on the other side. Vaginal in this context might be what it means to us when you get oral. For most of us, oral is just foreplay and that's it. There's no end, but there's no particular end. So unless you find that one person who really wants to get you there, most of the time it's just for foreplay, right? So you'd consider maybe someone fingering you just warming up the box and getting you ready for the real deal, right? So yeah, I think we can compare it on that level and say that oral on this side, just medium level oral, not the freaky sloppy shit. And the few times you've had vaginal orgasms, do you feel like the person who's been giving them to you is guessing, or do they really know where to touch?
Of course they're guessing, because it's inside there. You can't see it, and like with every new person, the male anatomy is different every time.
True.
So maybe with one person you're able to get, because there's a way they're shaped and the way you're shaped, and there's a way you guys touch each other. But normally it's not as easy as the other one.
In my opinion, before I used to know how to give vaginal better. This is assuming. Yeah, I'm assuming
that the women were truthful.
Yes, I'm assuming that the women were truthful. Going by what they were saying, I hardly touched the clit before. Like, also, it took me a while to get to know exactly where it is.
Before what?
It was a while before I got to know exactly where it is. And the anatomy is different with different women. So you find that one day this one is an outie, the next day the other one is an innie. So before you figure out which lips go where or how they open up, you are lost. So for clitoral, for me, was the shot in the dark, and I preferred vaginal because there's always that place. It's like the tissue is different, and the reaction is what you get from the feedback you get from the ladies is different too. You can tell that there's no way 5 of them agreed to fake it at that point. So I think I knew something in the vaginal sector. I kind of lost it along the way when I found the clit. Glory, glory, the clit. It made work so much easier.
At what age did you find the clit? Shock us.
I am ashamed. I might have found the clit when I was, say, 24.
Oh, wow.
Or 23 there.
Jesus.
I just knew the general area. And do you know the problem? Do you know why we hardly ever find the clit? Because it's hooded.
So?
Wait.
So is the engine, and you guys find it every fucking time.
The thing with it being hooded is you never think to unhood. You think what you're seeing is what is it. You get? Mm-hmm. You think what you're seeing is the
what
clit.
it is.
Yeah, it's
yes.
what it is. So you end up imagining that she's enjoying it, yet you could have unraveled another level and another level and another if you dug deeper.
First of all, not all women like for the clitoris to be exposed, because sometimes it's too sensitive. Yeah. So again, you can't, just because with one person it worked, it doesn't mean it's going to work on another person.
That's true. I think that's the baseline most people should carry, that most often than not we assume that what worked with the last one will work with the next one, and it's not necessarily ever the case. You end up hurting one or both. We digressed a bit, but it was a healthy.
Totally worth it.
Totally worth it.
The more the information, the better.
The better. So one last thing, and I'd really like to know. You were saying something about how your features click at some point, and you get to know how you like your vaginal or say clitoral done, or a combination of both. Mm-hmm. Is there a combination
between what and what?
Clitoral and vaginal.
Yeah,
tell me about that.
This one time I was using two different toys. I don't like toys that go inside. I'm more of a clitoral orgasm kind of person. So I had one a vibrating dildo inside, and I had a small rabbit outside, and they were both vibrating at the same time, and I swear I exploded from outside and from inside at the same fucking time, and it was amazing.
Who would have known? Who would have fucking known? Yeah. So at least this sheds some light to guys who might assume that it's just penetration or whatever it is they do with their whatever they have, and it kind of explains, it sheds some light on female orgasms through the years, and if they're better in the 30s, right?
Yes,
it's much better now, right?
I think that's the point we've been making from the beginning.
Yeah. So that's why I'd like to really emphasize on it, because most people tend to think that as you get older, of course it's true, as you get older you get less sexual, but there has to be a peak at some point, right? And I think
I've gotten more sexual
than
in my 30s
than
I was in my 20s. And you by the time you're 30, you've gotten to unlearn a lot of harmful shit that you've been conditioned to believe about sex. Like, women are not supposed to enjoy this, and you're not supposed to do this, you're someone's mom, you shouldn't be doing this. By the time you're 30, as I said earlier, you at that point in your life, the fuck it phase. So if you're here for an orgasm, you're here for an orgasm, and you have to find that orgasm. So I think it's it gets better with age.
Yeah, I hate pulling a dark cloud over this, but do you feel that it's been peaking and there'll be a drop somewhere?
Who cares? I'm living for now.
That's more like it.
Why do you want to ruin a
totally-
future that we might never see?
Okay, fine. I had to be the devil's advocate and ask. But yeah, it's been real. Thank you, Nyambura, for shedding a light on orgasms in the 30s. And we wish you more orgasms.
Thank you.
Yes. So, guys, thank you for listening to Randy Radio, and you have been hanging out with me and
Nyambura,
yes, or as you may know,
daughter.
exactly. And if you care to tell us more about your orgasms at this point in time, leave it in the comments section and tell us if they're getting better, boring, or plain non-existent. Oh my God, we didn't even discuss the non-existent ones.
Man,
We are sorry for you. And it's about time maybe you got to learn a little about yourself, maybe your sexual or asexual orientation. And thank you for tuning in again. Till next episode, bye.
bye.